Welcome to Jurassic World.
Guests, welcome to Jurassic World Minute, where we visit Jurassic World 1 minute at a time. I'm Brad.
I'm Dave.
And here we are back to discuss Minute 85 of Jurassic World. But before we get to that, David, heading over, not to Jurassic-Pedia.com, a site I'll have to post in later because I went to the wrong one. This minute heavily features that one much-loved and beautiful section of the Hawaiian coastline where we approach Isla Nublar in 2 films.
Yeah, it's the Keopuka Rock, and I'm not native Hawaiian or even remotely from Hawaii, so I apologize if I butchered that. But yeah, it's I think in fact the only shot in the entire series is this one in the first movie that are shot on Maui.
Yeah. And it's just interesting having a look at the side by sides. That original 1993 or 92 when they filmed it, and here in 2014 when they done it again. Just how much greener, how much more lush and almost wild the island looks again, with just that span of time. And of course the waterfall off to the left as well, which we didn't see in the original film.
It might have been drier at that point, but interestingly, I'm gonna go with the fact that there are filters going on here that are just making it look generally more greener.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, we've all seen how Jurassic Park was a much warmer film, whereas Jurassic World seems to be much cooler looking.
Yeah, we mentioned before the issue of the colours.
Yeah.
Playing around with colours throughout the film.
But yeah, it's interesting, though, because you don't see it in this movie, but if you go to Google and Google the Keopuka Rock, it's this long, skinny island jutting out from the mainland. Whereas in the movies, they film it at an angle that really, really compresses it and makes it look much shorter and small and almost smaller than it really is.
Yeah, it just looks like a small pyramid-shaped rock. Yeah, that's what a couple of times I remember looking at photos of it, thinking, no, that can't be the right spot. That's not what that rock looks like. They're wondering if they CG'd some of it for some god unknown reason, unless there's some sort of man-made structure on it. But yeah, it's just interesting the way they filmed it changes the look so much.
No, yeah, it's just camera tricks. It's something Spielberg has always been good at, though. Yeah,
and I'm pretty sure there is a helicopter tour that goes out around the rock in Hawaii, so.
There is. I think the only way to view it from the mainland is from a hiking trail called the Hana Highway.
I thought that was for the other one I had.
Maybe, I'm not sure.
Oh no, it's a Kalulu trail.
Yeah.
Yep. Again, unfortunately, looking at the wrong article here on this. But again, just the use of actual on location shots. We had it here. We had it back with the aviary car park area as well. It just makes me miss. It's going to make me miss the Hawaiian Islands and filming there for Dominion. But as the teaser or the trailer showed us, there are some lovely looking spots they're visiting with the new film. So it should still look just as good in different locations.
This does not feel safe.
Can we stay with you? I am never leaving.
as long as you live. No, him!
Dave, reading it in minute 85.
I am.
Alright, minute 85, Jurassic World opens with InGen taking over the control room and ends with a monster at the gate. As we enter minute 84, Hoskins has arrived back in the control room with some friends, and it's tiny shirt day because they're all big beefy guys.
Everything must have shrunk in the wash.
Yeah, well, it has been raining outside, so
Nice night for a walk. Nothing clean, huh?
That's where I was going with it.
Right.
But after addressing the control room staff about the tragedy of Simon Manzarani's death, he continues here with the new mission is to prevent further loss of life. And that's where Larry asks, who are these guys? And Hoskins jokes in the best way that Hoskins can joke, I'm glad you asked. And then just completely ignores Larry again, doesn't even answer him. He just addresses them all again, you're all relieved of duty. There's a new team on the ground. We don't know just yet that Masrani Global's assigned InGen security the task of trying to get Jurassic World back under control. It's sort of weird. I suppose Hoskins is a military man, so of course he's going to say you're all relieved of duty. But I suppose anyone else would just say, "Get out of here! you're all fired. Get out!" Because that's essentially what he's doing here.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah. But that's when we get that military theme start to pick up, and we cut to Pacific Ocean as a helicopter flies towards Nublar in that familiar flight path we've seen before. Stupidly, I didn't go to the Internet Movie Vehicles database, because this is a very similar looking helicopter to that original as well.
I think it might be. It's just painted black with the doors removed.
Is it black or it's olive drab green, isn't it? It's military green.
I thought it was like a matte black. Yeah.
Again, the filters on this movie it could be purple. We just don't know. Yeah, because I remember when Real News were posting photos of sightings of this helicopter flying around the islands with that InGen logo on the side. There was so much speculation about what this was going to be.
Oh, I remember that. And then it was featured very heavily in the trailers too. It was like the money shot, I suppose you would call it, of the helicopter flying past the rock.
Yeah. Plus, we get the shot of it landing on the beach and Hoskins getting out that we don't see in the film. And then he gets in that Humvee and drives up the coastline, which I think we thought was going to be that the InGen security video from the Masrani site. They used for that. But inside we can see more soldiers, all armed to the teeth. And out the open side door we can see a Dimorphodon flying solo out away from the island, and one of the soldiers, being a complete badass, raises his weapon and shoots it out of the sky in one shot, which sadly is the most badass we see of these soldiers for the entire film. Later they can't hit the broadside of a barn when the Indominus is standing there watching them.
Interestingly, this Dimorphodon seems to be the only one that's interested in leaving the island. The rest of the pterosaurs and the pterosaurs in general seem to be pretty content to just hang around. This seems to be the only one that's interested in migrating.
Well, we just like Jurassic Park too, we have a weird issue here with filming where it's flying in the same direction as the helicopter's flying, so it's flying back towards the island. The same in the original film where Hammond's in the seat facing backwards in the direction they're flying, and then looks out the window behind them and says, "There it is."
You're right. I forgot about that. It is flying parallel with, not a parallel against.
Yeah. So, but yeah, interesting. Maybe this Dimorphodon's out fishing. All the others wanted to go and attack Main Street, where this one's going to get some more tuna. But it does sort of show that these animals are capable of getting off the island a little bit as well, so that danger's there, even though we don't really get it addressed in the rest of the film. It's a shame we didn't get a Hoskins line later that I've already stopped these animals on the mainland once we need to stop them again or something like that.
Yeah.
when it comes to the flying ones. But we cut back to Owen and the gang as they enter another laneway here, and Claire's on the phone to Lowry telling him that they're on their way back to the control room. And we cut back to the control room, and Lowry saying that that's a bad idea. The board assigned emergency ops to InGen Private Security Division. This guy Hoskins is in charge and has this insane plan to use the Raptors to hunt the Indominus. Meanwhile, someone taps on the glass, so he must be in one of those glassed server rooms or something at the back of the control room, seemingly to hurry Lowry up. Which it's odd that they leave Lowry and Vivian in the control room and not kick everyone out.
Well, they probably need somebody who's familiar with the controls to help them. I mean, these guys are paramilitary. They don't know the ins and outs. Plus, they probably need their passwords. If it's anything like an Apple system, they're going to need to enter their password every other page.
Well, it's a weird one too, because they come into the control room. In the next couple of minutes, we see they're going to set up ops command center at the Raptor pen. So they're coming in here with their portable laptops, military laptops, whatever else. I don't know exactly what the plan is here. They're kicking everyone out, apart from Vivian and Lowry, we'll see later. Whether they're using their computers they're bringing in to not hack, but sort of transfer video feeds and that sort of thing to their control center at the Raptor pen. Because all these guys pretty much just set up this stuff here, then everyone goes to the Raptor pen. We don't cut back to the control room, I think, until we need Paddock 9 opened.
Mm-hmm.
So it's sort of a weird one, and especially with what we're going to get in a couple of minutes' time too, with all the visitors being sent to the marina, the ferry, to get on the cruise ships. I'm not quite sure why we still need people in the control room here after they've all been relieved of duty.
Like I said, it's probably for passwords and stuff. Plus, it's might have been that they split the team, so to speak. So they had like 3 or 4 guys still in the control room that we don't see, keeping an eye on Vivian and Lowry, while the rest of them went to the Raptor paddock.
Yeah, I suppose thinking now too, you do want someone there that knows the system, knows what control is. So if Hoskins calls in a command, they can these goons there can get him to do it. The other thing too, the board. I'm guessing that's Masroni Global. There's obviously been communications off island with what's been going on.
Mm-hmm.
We don't see any of that. This is sort of our first mention that the InGen Private Security Division is who these guys are on site. We sort of know all that from external material that was released via the Masroni Global site and that. Odd that I wonder if the board knows about Hoskins' insane plan, or if they've just said, rightio, InGen, you clean up the mess, and Hoskins hasn't told anyone what he's about to do because it's an insane plan, and we'll get to it in a next minute.
I think he might have conveniently left that part of the plan out of his correspondence.
Yeah. And I suppose in hindsight too, it probably wouldn't be much different to the boardroom scene we had in Lost World. Just a dozen old white guys sitting around a table saying to Hoskins over the satellite phone, "You've got control. Clean this mess up. Get them people off the island alive."
Mm-hmm. When Owen turns around and says, "Son of a bitch."
Yeah.
My least favorite line of the entire movie, which is, "You shouldn't say bitch." I mean, yes, okay, I'm making fun of a 13-year-old here, but still, that is absolutely horrible dialogue writing.
But it's just blown over too. Like, as you said, Owen hears Claire sort of over the phone. "What do you mean, use the Raptors?" I'd say it's one of Chris Pratt's better line deliveries in the film. Just he puts his all behind it. But yeah, it didn't need to be in the film. It could have been easily cut. No one addresses it. Even if someone had said swear jar or something like that, it'd be probably just as bad. But yeah, Owen tells Claire to take the kids, get them someplace safe again. He knows what's happening here, and he wants to get them away from all this. And as he sort of says it, we can hear banging on the large set of doors behind them. Everyone turns to look as the doors get pounded on by something very large on the other side, it seems. And as the minute ends, they turn and start running towards a nearby G-Wagon that's parked in the laneway, conveniently. We'll get to that Godzilla at the gate next minute, Dave. But anything else on that before we go to novel comparisons?
No, I think we're good.
All right. There is an extra scene here in the novel that we didn't get in the film. After InGen take the control room, we cut to near sunset as the military helicopter flies over the ocean towards Nublar. We get it next minute, I think, the hard cut from Main Street daytime to Raptor Pen nighttime, which is interesting. We'll talk about when we get there. But that helicopter lands on the helipad, and Hoskins climbs aboard. He asks one of his contractors how long till we're ready, and the contractor replies, "Hard to say. Some of the handlers are pushing back." And Hoskins smiles coldly, "Push back harder." So we actually get Hoskins getting into the helicopter here. I guess assumed where Owen sees a helicopter fly over Main Street, that's the helicopter arriving on the island and going towards presumably the Raptor Pen, but in a novel it actually picks Hoskins up from the control room and takes him to the Raptor Pen.
Interestingly, this scene does actually get released in the special features of the home release. So
okay.
We do get the scene, but I would not say it's set at sunset at all. Maybe late afternoon, like 5, 6-ish, around dinner time, if we're measuring by like summer standards. But yeah.
Well, I'd assume this Main Street sort of attack happened at 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Most of the shadows are still underneath the people. They're not trailing off. We've got full sun in Main Street, so we're nowhere near late afternoon. And then, as we get to next minute, we just cut to nighttime straight away. In the tropics, which would have to be 9, 10 o'clock at night at the earliest, just to be completely dark.
Yeah, that's something that I brought up back on Jurassic Park Legacy that I just thought was so strange, was that hard cut that we get from this scene here, where it seems to be late afternoon to flat night. But at night, everything's wet. Like, there's giant puddles on the ground, so it's like they had made, and they had a rain scene in mind, but we never see it. It's just so weird.
Yeah. And again, that the whole traversing the island has always been super quick, yet we get everyone leave in the G-Wagon next minute, and all of a sudden they don't turn up until 2 minutes 2 minutes into the night scene, after Hoskins is playing around with the Raptors. So again, it seems like it takes 3 or 4 hours for Owen and the crew to get from Main Street to the Raptor Pen, which we know from earlier happens a lot quicker. But
yeah, like I said, it's weird, the lighting shift.
Yeah.
Because, when they're in the Raptor Pen, it is flat night. There's not even I wouldn't even be able to call it twilight. There's no slivers of light left.
Yeah. And you could have easily fixed that by when Hoskins went up on the helipad to watch the carnage over Main Street, have that sun low over a hill or something, so it just adds to that shot where it looked much like the Minion trailer, where you just got that sort of that orange-red hue of light because the sun's sinking and the Pteranodon's swarming Main Street. So that didn't happen. Owen tells Claire to take the kids and to get them off the island, so he knows what danger is happening. He doesn't want to get them to safety. He wants to get them off the island. And it's a large fortified veterinary vehicle parked in the laneway, not the G-Wagon, which we're going to get to next minute. Why this scene has to happen? Why do we have running of the bulls on this Nublar, and why it seems to be such a danger to Owen and crew by having the people run past them. But that'll be minute 86. David, anything else on 85 before we get heavy for today?
No, I think we're good.